Griefshare is only for people that have lost a loved one. You can be experiencing other kinds of grief, but you have to have actually lost a loved one to come to Griefshare. Friday night, I am free, and Saturday morning, if you're experiencing grief, it could be you lost a pet. It doesn't matter. If you're experiencing grief, you might have lost a job, but you can come. And so we have people that come to that can't go to Griefshare.
When my dad was battling cancer and ultimately passed away, I was heavily involved in I'm Free, and I still am. I'd heard a little bit of Mary's testimony already. After he did pass away, I remember we had a couple of conversations, Mary and I, because I was obviously struggling with grief. I have a big family, and everyone processes grief differently. And one of the spiritual warfares, the battle that was going on, was just kind of wanted some of my family members to grieve the way that I grieved, if that makes sense. And I remember talking with Mary specifically about that, a few other people in Griefshare, and that was very important. It kind of got me centered. I've definitely met people that have shared very similar experiences, and that are either it just happened, or it happened a couple years ago and they're still processing the grief. But there is something very freeing about following the Holy Spirit's lead and just being comfortable to talk about that. And it helps me, but it helps others as well. And I've met several other young men, adult men, talking about that they lost their dad, or they lost their wife, or they lost a child. So definitely I've met a lot of people.
My grief is very fresh. It's just been a couple of months. I lost my mother, and very unexpectedly. And it was, this super high of preparing to celebrate her 70th birthday. We did have a party for her on Wednesday, a little dinner, and then the big bash party at a hotel, and all this stuff was supposed to be on a Saturday, which was, a lot of people flying in, driving in. She did not wake up, and it really threw my life in a spiral, to be honest with you. I knew the moment when this started happening, my first thought was, I've got to get around people. I've got to get around others. I just started to Google Celebrate Recovery, because I had gone through that program years back. And when it was Celebrate Recovery here, I guess, with the transition now, I'm so lucky and so glad that I found Freedom Church, because I don't think I would have discovered Freedom Church at all. I came to Celebrate Recovery that day, and there was this incredible, nice lady that felt my story. I couldn't stop crying. She held me, she hugged me, and she told me about Griefshare. I can come out on Griefshare Tuesday meetings, whether I've had a good day or okay day or not a great day or felt depressed during the day. I look forward to knowing that I'm coming amongst others that common denominator is that we all know the pain, and we know that we don't have to say, oh, I'm great, I'm good. I can just keep it real and say, today was tough. I started doing some journaling, started to pick up some things, but I just didn't feel like doing much.
It hits young people, it hits old people, it hits all of us, grief. Especially over the past 3 years with COVID, we've all lost somebody. On Wednesday nights, the I Am Free, we have a small group for grief, and that's going to be co-ed. Most of the I Am Free groups are gender specific. Grief is not. So anybody can come to that. And then on Saturday morning, we took a break from the Griefshare videos for a couple of months, and we started meeting for coffee on Saturday morning. And we found that was almost more valuable to everybody than the Griefshare, because it creates community. Anybody that's experiencing grief is welcome to come. We have men, women, young, old. We have such a diversity on Saturday morning and on Tuesday night too, but we want something to meet everybody's grief need here at Freedom Church.